lion, which you can see that's up there. This is the lion. We're going to do this together. The drawing was sent out, and it's only a partial drawing, so it's not the whole thing. It's just giving us some direction, so we could see where the eyes are and where the nose and mouth will be. And so you'll want 2 containers of water, one to keep clear, one to clean your brushes, some paper towel, and I take a sheet, just a little sheet, and I cut it into 4 pieces. So you can make one little piece of paper towel go a long way. And sometimes, if they're not too bad, I hang them up to dry, which sounds really frugal, but it's just a way to make some things go a little farther. So brushes, they're not large brushes I'm using today. I have a 6 pointed brush. I have a 3 pointed brush. I have a 2 pointed brush, and I have my angle brush that I may or may not use. So not large brushes, because the outside of our picture is going to stay clear, white, just a white background. And I am going to use from my tube, I have Chinese white. That's the white I'm going to use. So I have put fresh Chinese white with a little bit of water. So if you're just coming on, what I've suggested that you could do is just take some water, a little bit of water or a spray bottle, and just dampen all the colors in your palette. If you don't have your colors in a palette and you're using tube paint, then open lids of a bunch so that you're ready to squirt them on your tray and then put them on your picture. What I have done is on my tray, I've just gone over with a brush and just put in water in each little container just to start to activate my paint so that when I'm ready to go, they're already primed. If you are not working from a tray and you're working from tubes, then open up the lids of your tubes so you're ready to go when it's time. It's just as time saving. If you're quite content, sometimes those lids don't come off, and if I'm into the next color already and you haven't got that color on, you know, you're what's happening? You can't catch up. So if you can open up some lids in advance would be good if you use colors right from the tubes. So just put a little bit of water on your paints just to get them primed so that when you want to use them, they're all ready to go. Because in this picture, we'll move from section to section, not in a screaming hurry, but fairly quickly. We'll just want to make sure that you have those colors already primed and ready to go. So a multitude of colors, lots of colors on this one. So you'll want to have 2 containers of water, one for rinsing brushes, one for clear water, which we probably don't need a whole lot of clear water, but you may want to keep that one clear as you can, because once we start to get into the white paint around the face, your brush is going to get muddied by some of the other colors. So keep that one as clear as you can. That way you can continue to have white paint. So white, if you dip into it with something else on your brush, you'll contaminate your color. So try to keep that really clear. So I'm using Chinese white. I'm using a multitude of colors. They're going, if you look at the picture, it's a splash of color everywhere. This is a fun one, but I do want you to relax with it. It's busy, but we're going to be okay. So I think we're good to go. So we are doing a lion. If this is your first class, welcome. My name is Cathy. I'm the watercolor artist that will teach you these things. We're going to be fun and flexible. We're not going to do the outside. You can see around the lion in this picture, it's white. Don't worry about the background. When we paint our colors on, you don't need to go to the outside edge. If you have an inch or two, or a 1/2 inch on the sides that is still white, great, because then that lion will really show up. So let's just get into art mode. And we'll just, and I'd like also just to say thank you again for all of you that have been coming for a long time. And if you're new, thank you for coming today. This is a fun one to teach. I'm looking forward to it, and we'll just get right into it in a minute. But let's take anything that's troubling us and just set it in the parking lot for now. Just let it leave your mind and give yourself the gift of this 1 hour of time. And so we'll take 3 deep breaths in, and we'll hold it at the top, and then we'll release that breath, fast or slow, that's up to you. And then we'll just take the second and then the third deep breath. So deep breath in and hold it and release, and drop those shoulders down. And a second deep breath in and hold it and release. And one more deep breath in and hold it and release. And give those shoulders a bit of a shake. I'll try to remember to remind you throughout this picture just to relax and take a deep breath. Please remember, this is just a piece of paper. If it doesn't turn out exactly the way you want, you've got the original drawing. You can start again. You can do this over and over and over again. This lion could be exact colors of what a lion would be, or it can be abstract colors like what I've demonstrated for us to work on today. Brushes are a 6, a 3, a 2 pointed brush, and an angle brush. So if you have an angle brush, that would be helpful, but I may or may not use it. Again, 2 containers of water, your paper towel. Hopefully you've had the time now to drop a little drop of water or spray a little water with a spray bottle to activate your paints. If you're using only tubes and putting it on a tray, then open your lids up so that you're ready to go. So this lion, if I give a really quick demonstration, there's no face on this piece of paper, but the color for this lion, the colors for this lion are going to go all the way around the outside. Something like that. So we're pointed in some spots, we're shorter, we're longer. It doesn't have to be exact, but we're going around the outside. If it's higher in some spots, that's okay. If it's lighter or darker. So we will start to do some details on the lion. And so this is a good example of what, if you decided to do actual lion colors, then, you know, if you wanted to change it up and just do the lion colors on your second one, or even on this one, then this is raw sienna and ochre. So you've got pretty good colors for what a lion would actually be. So we'll start with the picture, and I'm going to turn the camera and only have it on the canvas so that we can do this together. So we're going to start with red. So you get your red paint. I'm using a brilliant red. And I'm putting a brilliant red on the outside. Now mix a little bit of white and your red together to make a pink. So I've got a pink color. Now I'm going to add pink on the outside of where I just put that red. So I have my red. And then I have pink. I'm going to move to purple. If you don't have purple, red and blue mixed together makes purple. So I'm putting purple up the top. And you can see I'm going from the inside up, and I'm letting it be a flick of paint. I'm not worried about it being perfect. Now to that, just below it, I'm going to add some blue, just in the crown and the forehead. And that's ultramarine blue. And then I'm putting on yellow. Now I want to be on the outside of that eye, so I'm doing yellow. I'm going back to blue beside the eye. And then I'm going to use orange. If you don't have orange, red and yellow mixed together makes orange. And it's muddied a little bit because it's running in with the blue, and that's okay. I'm starting to come down the way the face comes. This is aquamarine blue. And below that is orange. Now it's gone in with the blue, but it's an orange color. So start to come down the way the face is. From there, I'm coming back.
I'm sorry, what color was that, Kathy? Because it looks kind of
Orange.
brownish.
This is orange. Oh. Yep, it doesn't look orange because it's mixed in with the blue, but that's okay. It's just it will be a brighter color that will show up once we start working at the center of the face. And then I'm going back to ultramarine blue, and I'm coming, you can see that I'm starting to come down around the face. And now I want a lighter blue than the ultramarine blue, and I have something that's called a lake blue. I'm not sure what other color it would be called, but it's a lighter blue. And I'm going to put that right under the chin, and it's okay that it looks kind of scraggly. So it's a different blue than what I've got at the side. I'm coming back to that ultramarine blue on the other side, just a little bit. And then some red, just a little bit of red. And some yellow on top of that, just a little bit of yellow. On top of that yellow, I'm going back to the ultramarine blue. I'm still going downward. I'm still following that face. Then I want some green, and I'm using Hooker's green. And if you have Hooker's green, or you're not sure what other color would be compatible to Hooker's green, deep green is the same or very similar. So we've got that on the outside of that other eye. And remember, it's just a piece of paper. Take a deep breath. So with my purple, and if you don't have purple, if you mix red and blue, it will give you purple. I have something called diazonine violet. I'm going to start from the crown of the head, and I'm just coming down, not quite to the nose. When I drew that line, I stopped. So hopefully you haven't followed it right to the nose or right to the mouth. So we just want a center line for the lion's face. And once you have that line on there, just kind of give that lion a little bit of eyeshadow on the one eye, just at the top. And shoulders down, deep breath. Now we're going to give eyeshadow of orange to the other eye. So starting from that center purple, we're coming right over the other eye in that orange. And you can take that orange right up into that yellow if you like. It doesn't hurt to bring that up a little bit. Just have a little splash of orange at the top. We'll take a little bit of green, and we're going to put it at the outside of the one eye. Just let it come out a little bit onto the face. So it's not in the eye, it's on the outside of the eye. And just sort of running out to the outside. And we'll take that same green, you've still got it on your brush, below the other eye. We're going to brush that green down in to make a curve in the face. So I'm still using my number 6 brush.
Cathy, excuse me. Is it all right? My colors are kind of running in together.
It's probably beautiful.
Okay. Okay.
That's fine. See mine ran, that's okay.
Okay.
I think we're going to do more brush strokes, so not to worry. My whiskers will be going over that spot, so it will look quite nice with that blend of colors. So don't worry if this is wet. I know this is wet. We're still working with lots of colors that are still probably wet. So not to worry too much about that. And now I'm going with ultramarine blue, and I'm going to paint in the eyes. So where the eyes are, I'm painting them in ultramarine blue. Where the center of the nose is, I'm going to paint that in ultramarine blue as well. Now I'm going to take raw sienna, and I'm going to put some slashes of color. There's some lines on your picture already that you would have drawn in that look like that. So those were there. I'm going to expand on that. I'm also going to put a little dot of that out to the side of the face. Just a little slash of color right here. And under the eye, I'm going to drag some of that raw sienna. Now I'm going back into my ultramarine blue, and I'm going to lighten it up. I'm just going to add a little bit of water. And now I'm going to start to build on the face. So I'm painting the face in the lion. So I'm painting this watered down ultramarine blue inside the face. So I'm trying to make the face move to the outside. So my strokes, as I do them, as I go into the other colors, I'm giving the face a bit of direction. So if I start to pick up other colors, that's okay, as long as I start to get that direction of the face. So I'm switching now to my smaller brush, a number 2 pointed brush with black paint. And I'm going to paint around the eyes. I'm not doing completely around the bottom, but I'm doing the outside of the eye, starting with the corner. It's coming over the top and down, and it comes right down to that line that was drawn in the diagram, and I'm filling in the center. But I'm leaving the bottom of my eye here open. I'm not putting color there. I'm not putting black there.
You didn't bring the light ultramarine down by the mouth, right? You have it white. Is that correct?
By the
Right.
mouth.
No, right below, right there with the two lips or something like that. That's white, right?
Down here, yes,
Right.
his mouth, it's still, I left that clear.
Okay. So no. Okay. Okay.
And I'm going to do the other eye. I'm coming over the top, down around, filling this in with black for the outside edge, but I'm not painting the bottom of the eye. And the first eye I painted, I'm going to give at the very outside edge a very light look of an eyelash, very tiny. And I'm going to give the look of an eyebrow, just a few dots on the outside. And I want that eye to extend a little bit and even a little wiggle out. The other eye, I'm also going to give a little bit of eyelash. And a bit of brow. While I'm still working with the black, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start with nostrils. For the lion. And I'm filling that in. And coming up. Carrying on with the black, coming down around, down the center of the mouth and around the bottom. So he doesn't have to look like a smiling lion. He is a lion. I don't know how happy they are. Sometimes they have a rough day. We'll just give a gentle curve to where the bottom of the mouth is. And I'm going to take some of that black that I've got on and I'm going to just give a puff of hair up between the eyes.
What did you just do, Kathy, with the eye?
I just did a puff of black because I had the black on my brush, so I just used it up between the eyes, just going into the top of the head. Now next I'm going to mix ultramarine blue and white. So I have ultramarine blue and my Chinese white. I'm going to mix the two together and I'm getting a really soft, wispy blue-white color. So I'm going to use that color and I'm going to start at the top of the eye on the one side and start to move down and come around to the outside of the face and bring it down around the side of the mouth. So this is that same ultramarine blue and Chinese white mix, quite soft. I'm starting to give a little bit more look of the lion's face. So it's coming right down around the outside. I'm going to run a little bit of that in that white space where his chin is. A little bit on the other side. I'm going to run on the same on the other side. I'm going to go over the top of the eye with this light blue white mix. It's coming over top of the eye and then coming down the side of the nose to the outside of the face. Now I made a pink in the beginning. I mixed white and my red together. If you've used that up, then we'll make a little bit more. We have time, so we'll make some Chinese white and red. I'm using Brilliant Red. And where that blue is, I want to leave a little bit of blue right near the bottom of his chin, but I'm going to put that pinkish color over top. So I'm just going to leave a little section of blue, but have that pink at the bottom. Now, believe it or not, we're at halftime, so take a deep breath. Carry on with what you're working on. We'll come back to those eyes in a minute. The card for today, reflection, says to experience peace does not mean that your life is always blissful. It means that you are capable of tapping into a blissful state of mind Amidst the normal chaos of a hectic life by Jill Bolte Taylor. What were some ways you experienced peace during the chaos today? I'll just read that again. To experience peace does not mean that your life is always blissful. It means that you are capable of tapping into a blissful state of mind amidst the normal chaos of a hectic life. What were some ways you experienced peace during the chaos today? Good question to ask ourselves. All right, we have our ferocious looking lion here, maybe not so ferocious, but it's coming. Now we're going to work on those eyes. So I'm working with my number 2 brush and black paint. And I'm going to put a dot in each eye. So this lion is looking directly at us. So we'll put those pupils right in that it's looking at you right there in the center. So it's just 2 dots right in the eye. We'll come back and we'll work some more on those eyes, but we've started to give it a little bit of personality. That's just straight black. All right, well, I put those black dots on for the eyes. So now the lion, the lion has eyes, or it has a personality. It's looking at us. We will work more on the eyes, but now we're going to do a little more on the face. So just below or just at that section of the eye on the one side where we've got this black streak, we're going to put in some black. And I'm just doing a wiggle with my brush. It doesn't have to be a straight line, just some black paint. So what it does is defines where the edge of the face is. So that's mane sticking out the side. This is the actual face on the inside. So we'll come down a little bit more and we'll add a little bit more black. Just a little bit more so we can see that that face is starting to come in. And we've got a little bit of a gap in between there. And still with the black, we're going to continue coming down underneath, just underneath the mouth. And then we'll move to the other side. Underneath the mouth gets a little bit thicker. A little bit heavier in this area. And we'll put a little side spot here just to bring that face in. So we're going to do a little bit of lift off with the paint with our brush. So it's just a damp brush. I got my brush wet. I tapped it off on paper towel. I didn't dry it completely. I've just tapped it off. And we're going to lift off a little spot of white in the one eye. So we've got just a little spot of white that we've lifted off on the one eye. And we're going to lift off a little bit of paint on the other eye, just with a damp brush. So now we can see those eyes are really looking at us. We're going to, where this eye comes down, we're going to put a little bit of red in that tear duct. And we're going to put a little bit of red coming out of the side of the face underneath that eye. So I'm switching to my bigger brush again and going back to the ultramarine blue. And I'm going to give more blue coming down around the face. And I'll do that on both sides, more under the one eye, ultramarine blue. Coming down, we're going to leave a little bit of a gap, so there's a little bit of a line. You can see where that face changes. Now I'm going to move with my brush, with my white on my brush, and I'm going to start to pull that color down, whatever color ends up in my brush. I'm just moving my brush along the side of the nose, just down towards the mouth.
Kathy, you're doing it even if the paint is a little white, wet.
My brush was damp, yeah, and I let whatever colors went on it stay on it. I'm not worried. See, if I look at my brush, has white on my brush, but it's also got another color on there now. So I'm not worried that I'm picking up a little bit of color.
But my ultramarine blue that I just put on is a little damp. Is that okay? Should I dry it?
Oh, no. Go ahead with the Chinese white on top. That's what I'm saying. It's going to pick up some of that color and start to move it. And I'm going to go ahead in that mouth with the same brush. I'm going to round that out. Start to round out that mouth or above the mouth. I'm going to put some black, and I've got blue underneath my chin. I've got pink on top of some of that other blue, and I'm going to put a dark patch in the center of that.
What color was that, please?
This is black.
Thank
you. Black underneath. I'd like a little bit more color on top of this one eye. It's looking too light. So I'm going to add a little bit of purple just on top. And again, just let the brush just kind of trail away. Lots and lots of colors in this. I'm coming back to green. I'm doing a very light green, just a little bit on the outside of this part of his face. A little bit beside the eye, just a little bit darker. Just darken that up a little bit. And some just coming outside, just with that green, just to the outside of his face. And I'm coming back with a little bit of yellow, just from the center of his face back up, just lifting that a little bit, just to highlight that eye so it's more clear. A little bit of yellow on the outside. A little bit of yellow on the other side. Whoops, it's turned into green. Clean my brush. A little bit of yellow on the outside. A little bit of yellow a little lower. A little bit of yellow just near the mouth. And put some of that on both sides. And I'm coming in with pink now, back to that pink, that red and Chinese white that I mixed together. I'm going to put just a little bit on this one side of the nose, or above the nose, just at the base. Just a little bit at the base of that purple. And I'm just putting that at the base of the nose, or just above the nose, with the arch, a little bit on that arch, just coming down, just to add a little detail, and a little bit at the bottom of his chin, or the bottom of his mouth, I should say. And if you have any left on your brush and you want to brush some of that out, then go ahead and put that on. That's okay. I'm coming back into that eye again and just giving another little color at the bottom just to add this fresh color on the bottom of that eye. And I want to just do a little bit of lift off inside that nose, just lift a little bit of color off, not too much, but a little bit, just at the center of the nose, still leaving the blue, but just a little bit of lift off in the center just to lighten it up. I'm going to darken underneath his mouth with darker blue, ultramarine blue. I've already got that other blue on there, but I'm putting a different blue on. And then with my number 2 brush and my Chinese white, I'm going to start to create whiskers. So I'll start at the side of his face and just make a whisker. I'm just putting white paint on. And it's just a light feathery stroke. If you've got a lot of paint brush, add a little bit of water if it's thick, but just twist your brush so that the paint is at the point. So we're doing that on both sides of the face, adding some whiskers. You may need to go over them a second time just to, once they're dry, we can add a little bit more, or once they're a little bit dry. And those whiskers come down as well. And then underneath that blue that you've just added, underneath the chin, we're going to start to make some whiskers to go right over that black. I'm going to take a little bit of that blue that I've got. You can use ultramarine blue or lake blue. Just I'm watering it down a little bit. I'm just bringing it from the nose right down and around, and it's just going to sit just on top where the mouth would be, just coming down to the mouth. You're just coming a little bit over the edge of where that mouth is. And then you can come back on again and reintroduce those whiskers so that they pop right out. So if you'd like, you can add just a little bit of light, just a little bit of your white color, and just add a little bit of lightness to the face. A little bit of lightness on top of one eye, if you like. And if you like, lastly, you can just go around the outer edge of your eye and just darken that a little bit more. And what's left to do is your artist's signature. You just need to decide where you're going to sign. You know, it's a challenging project, but I think it's a good use of colors. It's a good use of being free and just putting color. You have the outline. You can do it again, as I said, if you want to. You can do it in just ochre and raw sienna, so you have the outside more lion color, but it's kind of fun with the abstract. So hopefully you enjoyed that. That's what you can do in 1 hour. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. Have a good day tomorrow, and I'll see you Thursday.